Hi, Ambassador. Pleasure to welcome you back to the program. Thanks for making the time.
No, my pleasure.
I wanted to start off and just ask if you could for the latest update on the ability of foreign nationals, of Canadians in particular, in Gaza to get out. Last update we had from Global Affairs was 75 Canadians have made their way through the Rafah border. Are you anticipating more today?
Yeah, so you're right, Vassy. I mean, we had 75 people a couple of days ago. So we had 80 people on the list. We managed to get 75 out. Today we had 40 people on the list, and last indication, about 30 minutes ago, 31 of those 40 people who were on the list managed to get through the border checkpoint. They're now sitting on the Egyptian side of the border, being processed by Egyptian officials. So very good news, 31 out of 40 today, and we hope, if we can, have a few more.
If my math is right, that puts the number of Canadians now who have been able to leave at over 100. There are more than 400 who have registered with the federal government and asked for assistance in leaving. What's the latest information you can share on how conversations are proceeding with respect to getting the rest of those Canadians out?
No, you're right. I mean, essentially more than 100 Canadians, permanent residents and their family members will have made it through. But I think our thoughts are with the people who have not yet crossed. And as you point out, I mean, we spare no effort talking to the people who make up, who produce the list. We're talking here about the Israeli officials, the Egyptian officials, and their conversations. We try to influence as much as possible the possibility of having more Canadians, permanent residents and their family members on the list. So I can, assure you and assure your viewers that we're not sparing any effort to do that.
Is there anything concrete you can offer today the families of those people in Gaza about how certain you might be that the rest of those Canadians will over time be able to make their way out? When we spoke over the weekend, for example, there was an agreement of sorts that it could even be 200 one day and 217 the next day. Obviously, things are very fluid. Do you have any reassurance from either Egypt or Israel that the rest of those Canadians will be able to eventually get out?
Not at this point, nothing concrete at this point, but we remain very optimistic that we're going to have, we will make the list again over the coming few days. But it remains a challenge. I think here, we have to be realistic. It's going to be, it's already a very difficult, very demanding operation. We have to keep in mind that Rafah is about 8 hours away from Cairo by car. It's also in a zone that's very, very, very dangerous. We've been telling Canadians not to go to North Sinai for over 10 years now. So the operation is complicated, but rest assured, I mean, the team I have at the embassy, consisting of many different departments, among which Global Affairs, Canadian Forces, Public Safety, Immigration, Refugee Citizenship, Canada Border Services Agency. They're all working very hard at making this a success. And if I may, Vassy, as well, I have to mention as well the other embassies in the region, at Tel Aviv, Amman. They've been of great help in our office in Ramallah, and the team in Ottawa as well, coordinating everything. It's a big operation, but I mean, we have to remain optimistic in this, and our commitment is to bring everyone home.
I was listening to John Kirby with the White House yesterday talk about the Americans' own kind of conversations or negotiations, I guess he at some point, I believe, called them, to try and get American foreign nationals out. And he mentioned that essentially he can't guarantee what the numbers will be on what day because every day is almost like a brand new negotiation. Is that a sentiment that you share?
It is. I think Mr. Kerry is absolutely correct. I think we need to reflect, what we can do to influence. I mean, we have some, I would say, little control over the establishment of the list. Do we have influence? I would say yes. That's why, every day we're in contact many times, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here in Cairo. I know my counterparts in Tel Aviv and Ramallah are doing the same with the different authorities. Folks in Ottawa are very conscious of the fact that we try to push every which way. We had Minister Hussein, our Minister of International Development, come to Cairo yesterday for a flash visit, but nonetheless managed to connect with ministers thanking Egypt for their support, and interacting as well with the families, which was, extremely appreciated by many.
Speaking of those families and those individuals who remain in Gaza, the White House is saying today that Israel has agreed to 4-hour daily pauses, basically, in order to allow people to move from northern Gaza towards the south to, A, get away from the fighting. But I know in the case of many Canadians that will involve their ability to get from the north to the border should their name appear on that list. Is that your understanding? Do you have any information about that? And to what degree do you think that might help Canadians who are worried about a lack of safe passage to the border?
Yeah, it would certainly help, because we know for a fact there are Canadians, permanent residents, family members in the northern part of Gaza. So anything will help. If we manage to get a pause for 4 hours, that's very, very welcome, because it's very hard. It's very difficult for those people currently in the Gaza Strip, and frankly, our heart goes to them.
And once they are able to cross that border, I know you've mentioned that there are officials essentially waiting, right, to take them to Cairo. And what happens after that?
Yeah, so we have officials at the moment at the border, and as soon as we can bring, the 31 individuals, perhaps more, we can put them on the bus. They'll take the journey from Rafah to Cairo. And when they arrive in Cairo, we offer them shelter. We offer them hotel rooms, an opportunity to have a decent meal. And as soon as they have a bit of a break, they feel a bit more, I would say, ready to continue the process. We meet with them at the embassy. We interact with them. We talk about their situation, their needs for passports, for example, for immigration documents. But also we talk to them about their medical needs. So we have at the embassy not only consular experts, immigration experts. We also have great support from the International Organization for Migration that provides medical support. Families can talk to health officials. We also have travel agents on the site, and already people can start thinking about how they're going to proceed to Canada as quickly as possible.
And do they? Is that decision made there? And is it always the case that they're going to come back to Canada? And is it a commercial flight that gets them there, or is the government coordinating and paying for that?
But we're coordinating to a certain extent. I mean, we work with the individuals, the families, and if they want to fly commercial and they have the financial means to do so, we let them proceed with their reservation and let them carry through to Canada. Sometimes, we have to be honest and be realistic as well about the situation of those individuals. Sometimes people come to us and they're destitute, so we give them financial loans, loans so they can buy tickets, proceed to Canada. What we've done, I think, as well, that plays in our favor, we have worked very closely with Egyptair here in Cairo. Egyptair has a connection between Cairo and Toronto, and we've reserved blocks of seats on those planes. So we have first access to flights going directly from Cairo to Toronto. So it works on many different levels. And I would say the families are extremely appreciative of the efforts made by the Government of Canada. Very tired. They're extremely tired. Some are shaken by the experience. But what we want to do is provide them with the best service, the best care possible. But it's a very, very difficult operation at this point.
Well, Ambassador, I know it's a busy time for you, so I do appreciate you making some time for our program today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Canada's ambassador to Egypt, Dumas, there. After we taped that interview, we did get a bit of an update from Global Affairs. I want to share it with you. 32, not 31 Canadians eventually got across the Rafah border today. Before that, 75 Canadians, as the ambassador mentioned, had been able to make their way out. But Canada has also confirmed that 9 Canadians got out through other means. So, for example, aid workers or dual citizens who left with other groups. So the total is 116 Canadians have left Gaza. As of this evening, there are more than 400 total. So another 300 who have registered with the federal government to get help leaving Gaza.